to you guys. Bittersweet to say that one last time for this year. But, a lot of things we learned, about ourselves as a team, about who we are as individuals. So many obstacles that taught us so many lessons that I know will carry us further in the future and help us along the way when similar obstacles come up in this game. And, I just appreciate and love every single player, coach, support staff, fan that supported us all year, and it means the absolute world to me to be a Minnesota Viking, and I'll open it up to anyone for questions.
Did the hand get worse? Did something happen? Was it 50-50 before the game? Just walk us through the start of the game and when you finally went, hey, I'm coming out.
In a way I don't want to say because, it feels bad on my heart, but I was happy I made the right decision. I learned from something from the prior week where, feeling the momentum of the game, how well the defense is playing. When it gets to a point where you feel like your body is going to say, no, you can't do that, you got to, put your ego aside and understand you got to do what's best for the team. And it's a similar situation that came up today. And it killed me to, pull myself out. Never done that before, but had to do what's best for the team.
JJ, were you concerned there about being able to grip the ball again when you say similar situation?
For sure, yeah. It just started, throbbing up a little bit during halftime, and, I threw that first pass to Justin, and it was like 10 yards away from me, and I didn't feel like I could throw any further than that without something, wild happening with the accuracy or the decision-making. So, yeah, I felt like it was best to take me out.
When you look at the overall landscape of this season, what was the most difficult part for you?
Losing, number one. Obviously, it's always been like, how's the kid going to react when he loses? That was always the big question. And I feel like, the guys around me, the coaches, the leaders, Harrison Smith, C.J. Ham, just to name a few, the way they handled everything and, consistently showed up every single day, trying to get better, trying to work on their craft, not for themselves, but for the people next to them. And you find a lot of strength in that. So I feel like, that's the biggest thing I pulled from for today, to go out there and give it my all.
Did you do anything with the hand pregame to kind of remove some of the pain?
No, sir. That's a great question, Alec. But, earlier in the year, if you remember the Chicago game, there was a little something on my hand, and I feel like it messed up my accuracy way too much. So, just bite on a bigger piece of wood and go out there and grind it out.
So are you saying you took like a painkiller in the that Chicago game?
No, tape. Tape, yes, sir. Yeah, only a little Advil and pain off today. So.
Do you feel like you earned the right to be the starter going next year? Where do you think you stand with the organization at this point?
After today, maybe, but tomorrow there's nothing promised. The next day there's nothing promised. That's something I take very seriously. It's not something that you buy and you get for the rest of your life. You rent it, you lease it every single day, and I'm just, trying to make daily deposits to make sure, I'm in this house for a long time.
JJ, how did you say it was best for the team? How did you, in that moment, weigh that against it may not be the best thing for the narrative about me?
That's a really good question. Narratives are something completely out of your control. I can't change it no matter what I do. I could go out there and grind through it, and maybe fourth quarter happens, something fluke, and, I screw up a lot of my off season. But at the end of the day, you can't deal in those what ifs. You got to feel what you're feeling right now, and from your past experiences, take those lessons and apply it to that situation where you're going to make that choice. And it was one of the hardest choices I've had to make in my life so far, but, I feel like it was the best thing for the team at that moment.
How do you judge the injuries this season, in totality? Are they all separate? Or do you think there's any, thing you can do to universally kind of reduce your risk for injuries next season and moving forward?
Another great question. I feel like just playing allowed me to gain the experiences metaphorically and literally in terms of the pain I would feel getting a little too close to the pocket, not getting the ball out on time, being bad with my eyes, having the defense disguise something and not react instinctively. There's all these things that happen before the injury that could, be the difference in you not being in that vulnerable position. So I just need to continue to work on everything that it is to be a good quarterback in this league. And, I feel like the injuries will slowly fade away with just more situational awareness and presence.
With the hand injury, is there something that needs to be done surgically to repair it, or is it just time and rest that will help?
Yeah, no, sir. Just got the x-rays back, came back positive, and yeah, it's just about healing up. I think I pushed it back a little bit with the heal time, but we got time for that, unfortunately. And yeah, we'll see where it goes, but going to continue to rest and recover for sure.
When you say positive, you mean positive good?
Everything's stable, so that's, yeah, there's the fractures and all that, but everything's stable.
What were some of your favorite throws in the first half today?
There's a lot of them. I feel like just the ones to Jets, specifically the one where I was out of the pocket and, finding him late on the hinge route. That's something, we've been working on, just trusting each other, trusting he's going to make the play if I put it to the spot. The one I had to Ben Sims on the run, that was just something where, I've been working so hard and so vigorously and trying so hard to make those throws on the run, but at the end of the day, you just got to kind of trust the spot and put it there, and I feel like I did a good job with that. But, it just came down to the protection being great today, the running backs doing their thing in the run game, and pass protection, the tight ends catching, pass blocking, run blocking, and the receivers obviously doing their thing today, so all the credit goes to them.
JJ, was that taunting call in part a reaction to the adrenaline that maybe you picked up off that stiff arm?
Yeah, I've never stiff-armed someone in my life, so there was a little excitement, a little too much excitement, and, immediately right after, I got carried away, and right after I felt so bad because I felt like I let my team down, I let my teammates down, and that's crucial. A big game, high stakes, you can't have, dumb reactions like that are selfish overall. And, my apologies go to my teammates and the defense, and it's not going to happen again. I promise you that.
What'd you say to him?
Say again?
What'd you say to him?
Might be up to the lip readers on that one. Yeah.
JJ, was it you that pulled yourself out, or did you have a conversation with him?
It was me. It was me. I feel like I had to make a grown man decision. We kept going back and forth. Could you go? Could you not? I got one person on my shoulder saying, go in there, you got this, he'll be fine. And then another person, hey, maybe this isn't a test that, you're being tested to make the right choice once again. So, I listened to the one that was on my right shoulder and went from there.
JJ, you talked about the leaders on this team. If it happens to be Harrison Smith's last game or CJ Ham with the Vikings, what have you learned from them specifically that will help you out through your career?
I really want to talk about both. First, CJ, man of faith, true character that's just so pure. You know exactly where he's going to be, when he's going to be there. He does all the right things. He's the pivotal role model that I feel like people can look up to and see what it is to be a Walter Payton Man of the Year. See what it is to be a great football player for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, Mr. Minnesota, he is. So, just his journey is very inspiring. And Harrison Smith, he took me in right away. Understood the kind of mentality I had, saw a little bit of me and him, and all the things he's learned over the years. I've tried not to be too pressing on him because I feel like I push people away when I talk too much football. But who he is as a man, competitor, warrior, he's one of one. I truly believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he definitely deserves it.
JJ, as you look ahead, what are the areas of growth that are in your mind will be front and center as kind of the next few weeks and months come?
With the off-season plan, it's really just about how can I improve myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and really go from there. There's definitely different branches from each of those routes, and to get in specifics right now is something that don't want to let the other team know what we're working on, and just continue to show up and be consistent every day. That's going to be the main thing.
JJ, do you think you earned the trust of the decision makers here? Whether it's head coach, GM, owners, whoever.
In my opinion, I feel like I have, but at the end of the day, they have their own opinion, they have their own perspective, they see things different, they hear things from different places, and I just feel confident going into this offseason and content with where I'm at because I feel and truly feel like they know who I am as an individual and the potential and the capability that this offense could have with me at the helm. So, but at the end of the day, it's all about the guys, and from here on out, if I'm here, if I'm not, I love every single one of those guys and had a friggin' blast playing for them.
JJ, you carry yourself with a lot of confidence, always have. Did that get shaken at all this year?
No, sir. Never. I feel like confidence is something that's, innate. It's something that you can't let external factors shake it, because then that's not confidence. Then you're just, playing that game back and forth. But it's something I learned from Justin Jefferson. Like, I've never understood, really fully why he is the way he is, why he's so successful, but it's exactly that, his mentality, the confidence that he's the best on the field no matter where he is, no matter what time it is. And, that's something that I try to adopt and really make a habit for the next coming years.
J.J., Justin talked about wanting to get time with you this offseason. When you guys do that, what are the things you feel like you can take from that the most?
Timing. The number one time when the receiver's open is right out of the cut. So just being able to get those reps, get those different body positions that I'm seeing from him, and the space on the field of which I'm trying to fit it into, and how he's getting to that landmark. There's so many things that just need to grow by naturally and very simply just throwing more routes together. So I love hanging out with him off the field too, so we'll get really close there and, be ready to go.
J.J., what was it like to see a guy in your draft class, Dallas Turner, finish the season the way he did?
I love DT. Obviously came in together, literally got the wind knocked out of him, or out of me, by him like a week before I saw him again. And, he's a special human being once again. We have so many in this locker room, but he's on to great things. He's got all the tools you could possibly imagine, but like I said about Justin, he's got the mentality, and when you got that, that's something that I can put all my chips in for.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. God bless.